Alrighty. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning. We're live streaming on YouTube this morning. I think I worked out the kinks in that. So we'll see how that goes. So welcome to the folks I can see on Zoom. Welcome to the folks I cannot see on Facebook and YouTube. I'm happy to be with you this morning. Today we're going to talk about mindfulness as a form of protection. A lot of Buddhists wear a red thread like this one. And it symbolizes a couple of things. One, the red thread is the robe of the Buddha. And it's also known as a protection thread. Protection from what? Protection from ourselves, essentially. And our own internal stuff. So we're going to talk about mindfulness and protection. But first, let's meditate. So, I invite you to find a comfortable meditation posture that works for you. In which you are alert. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday. Welcome, Michelle. I don't know how the way you read about it. I don't know what's going on with the echo from, I'm thinking, the YouTube channel. So I'm going to stop that and come back to it later. Technology is a weird thing. So, let me figure out this little technical glitch here, and then we will go on. Okay. So I invite you into a meditation posture in which you can be relaxed but alert at the same time. If you are sitting upright, I invite you to sit with your back straight, not like rigid straight, but like in its natural curve. And just let your body settle into where you're sitting. If you are laying down as a meditation posture, I suggest you keep one arm up, like perpendicular to your body, so if you fall asleep, your arm will fall and you'll wake up. I'll do a thing on postures at some point down the road. And I invite you to just tuck into your chin just a little bit, just like if you had a string right at the crown of your head, like pulling up just a little, and tuck your chin in, that straightens the top of your spine without straining or stretching the muscles in your neck. And just let your attention come to your body. The sensations of sitting here in the present moment. And let's start with a few slow, deep breaths into the belly. Just to connect to the breathing. Just a couple slow, deep breaths, about 3/4. And on the out breath, start to relax and soften into the body. And letting your breathing return to normal. And as you breathe out, relax the muscles of your face. They do a lot of work. And the muscles around your eyes. Just letting your eyes rest in their sockets. Letting your body settle into the chair or the cushion. And let your attention come to your breathing. The sensations of the body, breathing in, the sensations of the body, breathing out. Some people do that by focusing on the sensations of the air moving in and out of your nose. Some people do that by focusing on the sensations of the chest or the belly moving up and down, or some combination. Just letting your body breathe and resting your focus and your attention on the sensations of the body breathing. When your mind wanders off in thought, that's okay. It does that. It's supposed to do that. There's nothing you can do about that. But when you notice, gently, firmly, without any negative energy or recrimination, Just bring your attention back to the sensations of the body breathing. Your mind may wander off again and again. You may notice right away or not. It's all good. This is a gentleness practice. When you notice that you're thinking, without getting involved in the content or the story or the narrative, just notice that you're thinking as a process, and come back to focusing on the breathing as many times and as often as you need to. You can't do this wrong. The doing it is the doing it. thoughts arise. It's okay. They just do. You may notice right away or not. It's all good. Just bring your attention back and begin again, focused on your breathing. Thoughts arise. That's okay. Just notice. And begin again. Focused on the sensations of the body breathing. And as we come towards the end of this sitting, I invite you to be aware of anything that may or may not have shifted or settled or not from before you started this meditation. What it feels like to be in your body and your mind at this moment. And may the benefits of this meditation enable you to walk around the world today with more ease, more relaxed, letting your experience flow through you. And may it be that the benefits of this practice enable us to view the world around us through the eyes of kindness and compassion. It radiates into our households, into the neighborhoods around us, into our towns, into the world at large. May the benefits of this practice be of benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice. Again, I apologize for the wide variety of technical glitches that got us started today, including apology to those people who got caught in the waiting room. I don't know how the waiting room got enabled. I never have it enabled. But I was noodling around with some settings and probably inadvertently did that. So if you were caught in the bardo, I'm glad you're here now. As usual, I put the usual information in the chat. How to find these sessions every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And how to find them on YouTube and Facebook. How to get in touch with me through my website, through my email, through my phone number. And if you feel so moved, a link to make a donation. This is freely given. I enjoy doing it. It's my pleasure. No obligation of any kind, but if anybody feels like it, you can. So, today we're going to talk about protection, mindfulness as a form of protection. As I said earlier, a lot of Buddhists, of which I consider myself one, wear a red thread like this one. I also have another one that hangs around my neck a lot of the time that was given to me by Lama Yeshe Jinpa in California. A protection thread. Protection from what? I make no secret of the fact that I am an addict and an alcoholic, so I need to be protected from myself. Um, and even though I've been clean and sober for some period of years, my mind wanders off in all kinds of directions, some of which are not necessarily good for me. Um, and one of the many gifts of this mindfulness practice is I don't have to wander off with it. I get to watch. One of my favorite writers, I don't have it handy, and I'm going to paraphrase, Jeannie DePro, I've read to you guys from her before, uh, described her mind as like this machine that's careening down the road and going at 90 miles an hour and up and down and around the turns and all over the place, and she's being dragged along behind it by a chain. And the effect of mindfulness meditation, she says, is that the mind is still doing a lot of that, but she's no longer being dragged behind it. She's just observing. And so much of that protection comes from seeing clearly, which is in fact the intention of mindfulness. Learning to be less inclined to be swept up in our thoughts and strong feelings, um, as we have more space around them as a result of this practice. We're better able to make choices about what's going on in the moment because we're less inclined to be swept up in the passions and feelings of the present moment. The Insight Timer app that I use glitched out this morning. Facebook glitched out this morning. It's a perfect storm. There were issues with YouTube Live, right? Just like all this stuff going on, and which is really unusual because usually it's like very smooth on Sunday mornings. I push two buttons, boom, we're off and going, and my mind is like, oh my God! But I can just sort of hear that like a radio station because this practice enables me to step back and get a little distance from that and observe it and recognize that in the moment, nothing is actually happening. 99.9 times out of 100 moments, nothing is actually happening. And whatever is happening through this practice helps us learn to accept our experience as it is, comfortable, uncomfortable, easy, hard, without meeting it with some form of attachment or aversion. To be able to see more clearly, to make better choices beyond some version of make it stop, make it stop, make it stop, or I want that, I want that, I want that. Because we spend much of our lives sort of like in this stalking the wild pendulum between attachment and aversion. And something's going on that we like, it feels good, we cling to that, I want more of that. Something's going on that we don't like, it feels bad by our definition, and we meet that with aversion. There was a 2-year-old in my life at one point who, when something would happen that he didn't like, he would go, don't want it. He's graduating from college this month, by the way. But I refer to that as my inner 2-year-old. The don't want it. And the clinging to the parts that I do like. But what if it turns out to be true that there are no positive or negative states? And we can just observe all of these feelings as energy. There are no positive feelings, there are no negative feelings. They're just pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. If I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling grief, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I don't have to make it stop. I can observe that, know that I'm actually okay, I'm just having an uncomfortable experience, and kind of ride with it. Knowing that, and this is always true, whatever it is will pass. All things are impermanent, especially states of mind. Also, if I'm having a really great time, I don't have to cling to that, and I don't have to be sad when it's over, because all things come and go. And mindfulness helps us pause in those moments. And pause is a pretty common spiritual practice. In the 12-step world, they talk about halt. Don't get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And when you are, halt. Pause. You can pause with whatever your experience is and just observe it as a phenomenon of energy moving through your body. And when you do that, it'll shift. The alternative that we're trained to practice is we have this part of our mind that narrates everything all the time. And as a result of which, our experience tends to be in two parts. Here's what happens, here's what we tell ourselves about what happens. Excuse me. These are separate. Most people, I think, don't know that. These are separate. So I'm having a difficult day. My technology is not cooperating. There's a narrator in my head that says this is really not okay. And you're letting down the people who are showing up, and you are no longer a master of the technical universe, and whatever. It's all some version of whatever. But none of that is true. Because here's what happens, and here's what we tell ourselves about what happens. And the Hopi Indians, I don't know how they came up with this, but I just decided that I like it. The Hopi Indians believe in every situation there's 88 possibilities. Right? So here's what happens, here's what I tell myself about what happens. What happens? Nothing I can do about that. The universe just sort of presents itself. Over here, there's 88 possibilities as to what I can tell myself. I've talked before about my neighbor Bruce across the street. Cool dude. Is not intentionally mowing his lawn while I'm meditating. Right? But it goes down that way sometimes. And so, the narrator in my mind might feel kind of put upon by that. But I'm not. So mindfulness helps us step back and recognize, what am I telling myself about this situation? The truth this morning is, sometimes technology is a pain in the ass. I worked in Silicon Valley for more than 20 years, and what I learned from that experience is that this stuff doesn't work very well. It's just not reliable. And that's all I need to know this morning. The rest is who cares. It's like, I've told this story before, guy needs to borrow a lawnmower. His lawnmower breaks down. So he decides to go next door and see Dave and borrow the lawnmower, and he's walking up the street to Dave's house, and he's thinking, I haven't seen Dave for a really long time. He didn't talk to me at the neighborhood block party. So I'm talking to my wife. I wonder what's going on with the two of them. Maybe they're conspiring. Maybe they're having an affair. Maybe he doesn't like me anymore. He's got this whole thing going on in his head. He gets to Dave's house, knocks on the door. Dave opens the door and smiles. And our guy says, "Take back your goddamn lawnmower." Right? Because he constructed this whole thing in his head. None of which was actually real. Franz Kafka, the great existential writer, has this really great short story, The Man Next Door, and he's going into all this stuff about the man next door and all these things he's doing and all these things he's saying and all these places he's going. And then the last line of the story is, and I've never met him. The stuff that's going on in my head, the most important thing I have to remember about that is it's not going on anywhere else. My feelings are not facts. And mindfulness helps me see that These are just thoughts and feelings and energy. I don't have to ruminate about something or someone I'm unhappy with. I don't have to follow that thought stream into more anxiety about whatever it is I might be anxious about that day. I can, at any time, pause. Now, the thing is to remember to do this, and that's okay, because especially if you're at the beginning of this process, we don't remember to do this all the time. But we can recognize that we have the option to just pause and come back to our bodies and breathe in and out. And anytime, you can at any time during the day place your hand on your belly if you want to, so you can feel your stomach going up and down, and just focus on breathing in and out. You can be having a conversation with somebody. You can be in a staff meeting at work where they are unintentionally reminding you why you wouldn't do this if they didn't pay you. You can be talking to a customer at your store who's reminding you how much training you've had on being nice to difficult people. You can always come back to your breathing, which helps you separate the thought stream from reality. Because reality is what's actually happening in front of you. What's going on in my head is not necessarily reality. I can pause mindfully and just observe. Okay, I'm feeling a little agitated. What am I observing with that? When I'm feeling agitated, I feel in my lower back, it's like it straightens out a little bit. And I can there's a muscle just on the inside of the lat on the right side. I can literally feel it go eek, just a little bit. I can recognize all the physicality of that, but I don't have to attach a narrative to that. And the narrative that I would attach to that would be some version of I'm not okay. So what we're talking about here is the art of knowing you're okay regardless of how you feel and what your thinking mind is narrating. And I call it an art because an art is something you have to practice. In the 12-step world, we say we practice these principles in all of our affairs. We don't get to the 12th step and I'm done. I'm enlightened, I go off into the world now. Eric Clapton has been known to practice 12 hours a day. And then he deprives himself of his guitar so on the day he has a show, so he feels like he's falling in love with it when he sees it again. I think that's kind of interesting. I've quoted Pablo Casals many times, the great musician who was once asked, why do you still practice? You're the master. You practice 8 hours a day. He says, well, I'm going to be learning it. These are things we practice. And we practice with gentleness and compassion. Every one of these talks always come back to the central theme, which is self-compassion. All of this is an opportunity for self-compassion. Because we're not going to do this all the time. We're not going to be able to do this all the time. The people who walk around full-time, present in this mindful space of a quiet and resting mind, without following or having to deal with thoughts as distractions or any of that, the people who do that 100% of the time show up every 500 years or so. We start religions around them. So it's not you, it's not me. Okay. So again, this is an opportunity to be kind and gentle with yourself. It's a form of protection from the wind, the internal winds of the mind and the soul. To step back and breathe and remember, I'm okay, it just feels a little funky right now. So, I'm giving a talk tomorrow on equanimity. with one of my favorite people. And equanimity is the art of accepting your experience as it is without being ping-ponged back and forth between attachment and aversion. It's just a practice. I don't have to ping-pong back and forth between cling to that, don't want it. I can stay in the middle way. On some days, I'm better at that than others. That's just the truth. And I can accept that most of the time. So I invite you to be kind and gentle with yourself. And I invite you today, if you're having a difficult experience, a difficult moment, you can take a breath and remind yourself that you're okay. Just, I'm okay. This is just weird. Don't get attached to it having to be different. Because you are okay, and life is just weird. So, thank you for your kind attention. Any comments or questions? Okay.
Hey, Ken.
Yo.
I was having technical problems this morning too, so don't feel bad.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I saw, I was meditating with my eyes closed, and I opened them and I saw you in the waiting room. So I don't know how long you were in there. I apologize for that.
Not long.
I never have the waiting room enabled. Once upon a time, I was a psychiatric social worker in an agency in Sacramento. And it turned out I was the only person in this hallway, who had any kind of technical geeky ability at all. And people were always coming to me with, my computer won't do this, my printer won't do that. And at one point I just said, well, go, hit it with a hammer. So if you feel you must, you can, but it's an expensive solution. Or you can just pause and breathe. Remember that your computer is in fact an inanimate object. The people who are charging you $700 at the Apple Store are not telling you that it's not reliable.
My uncle once shot his with a gun, actually.
I kind of like that. I was doing some consulting work.
He got the blue screen of death, and he got so frustrated. Yeah.
If you have to shoot something with a gun, that's a good thing to shoot at. Just, nothing that breathes. I knew a guy at a startup who got a company in Silicon Valley who got so frustrated he actually threw his computer out the window. And then he quickly ran to the window to make sure he didn't beat anybody in the head with it. So, it's like that great scene from the movie Billy Jack. He does this very elaborate rain dance, and then it doesn't rain, and they all look at him, and he says, sometimes the magic works, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of like that. So I apologize for any inconvenience, and if anybody just sort of dropped off because I couldn't rescue them from the waiting room, I apologize for that too. Anything else? Anybody else? Then I guess that's it for now. Michelle, you look like you're about to say something.
Namaste is what I'm going to say, Ken. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. It's great to see you.
Yeah. Thank you.
you.
Thank you all.